Toph is not the only character in Avatar with a crush, but unlike Aang's crush on Katara, which the show explores and celebrates, Toph's crush on Sokka is left to the margins of the show. This discrepancy is odd considering that Toph is the character who gains the most from connecting with others, considering that she was deprived of human connection during her childhood. In the first 12 years of her life, she never had a friend. She was invisible to the world, and her parents wanted to keep it that way. Avatar: The Last Airbender is not a show that particularly focuses on romantic attractions, but Toph's attraction to Sokka matters to her. It's never an important plot point, but it recurs. And there's a tragic element to that, so let's investigate it. Let's zoom out a bit and think about Toph as a character. Who is she? Raised by emotionally abusive parents, she never had a friend. Her parents hid her away, believing her blindness made her helpless. It wasn't just that they accepted they had a daughter with disabilities. In a perverse way, it's almost like they were glad they had a daughter with disabilities. To them, it meant that she must be protected, which means that she can be controlled, which means that she never has an opportunity to form a coherent sense of self away from who her parents want her to be. And she is distraught at this. She reacts by running away to go play with badger moles and eventually, as she grows up, to join the Earth Rumble competition. When Team Avatar appears, she wastes no time in joining them. That they constantly forget she's blind is played for some laughs, but beneath the humor, there's a real contrast between how they treat her and how her parents treat her. To her parents, her disability defines her. They think of her primarily through the lens of that disability and refuse to allow her to define herself outside of it. Team Avatar treats her exactly the opposite. If you ask them to talk about Toph, they might say something about her blindness, or they might not. It certainly would not be the first thing they mentioned. And very quickly, Toph finds that the member of Team Avatar to whom she is closest is Sokka. With apologies to fans of the Toph and Aang pairing, the two of them are not particularly close. The bulk of their interactions occur in one episode, 209, Bitter Work, wherein Toph teaches Aang to earthbend. Even here, there's no real affection between these two, contrasted with the warmth Iroh treats Zuko with in the episode's B story. Aang has to impress Toph and convince her he's not weak, which he does by standing up to a saber-toothed moose lion and then refusing to back down when Toph confronts him. She's glad he's shown grit. To her, he's demonstrated that he has the spirit of a real earthbender, which is all about not running away, not looking for clever solutions or creative ideas, but just charging ahead, unmovable as the earth itself. The interactions between these two in this episode are satisfying, yeah, but they aren't exactly warm. Toph's relationships with the other two original members of Team Avatar are more fruitful. Her relationship with Katara is tender but fraught. Katara basically serves as a mother to the clan, but Toph is rebellious, and she does not know what to do with her own complicated feelings about her parents. She hates them for how they restrained her, and how they forced her to be someone she's not, but she also misses them, and she hates how she just left them like that without a word. And because she doesn't know how to deal with these feelings, she transfers them to Katara, as Katara serves as her surrogate mother in Team Avatar. I've seen some people argue that Katara is hypocritical for opposing Toph, stealing and doing these scams in episode 307, when she herself was willing to steal the waterbending scroll in episode 109, but I don't think that's a very legitimate criticism. Two major reasons why. Number one, there is a significant difference between stealing to get a piece of your culture back from people who do not care about your culture, and just scamming to get money you don't need. But more importantly, number two, Katara learns her lesson at the end of episode 109. That she stole got herself and the rest of Team Avatar in trouble. So she has learned from her mistakes, and she does not want Toph to fall into that same trap. And she knows that Toph will fall into this trap if she keeps going to bigger and bigger scams without any belief that she'll get caught. Toph believes she's invincible, and Katara wants to assure her that she's not, in order to pass on the knowledge she obtained from her mistakes in episode 109. Katara really serves as kind of a big sister, kind of a surrogate mother to Toph, and trying to stop her from falling into the same mistake that once befell Katara is very befitting of that kind of dynamic. They resolve the uneasy relationship between them at the end of episode 307, after Toph has revealed to Sokka that she does not really hate Katara, no matter what she says, and actually cares a lot about her, but that Toph is even the one pouring these thoughts out to Sokka is significant in terms of the relationship between Toph and Sokka. It says a lot about that relationship. In Sokka, she sees both a kindred spirit and someone she can make fun of. Sokka is a skilled tactician who crafts the magnificent plan to invade the Fire Nation on the Day of Black Sun, a plan that would have succeeded had Azula not overheard it. Sokka is also a goofball whose fighting skills are far inferior to hers, and she mocks him for this, but she's just kidding around. There's nothing mean-spirited about it. Compare when she taunts Sokka for not being a bender in episode 208 to Katara's bitter, cruel retort in that same episode about how Toph can't see the stars because she's blind. There's a difference. Toph loves people she can kid around with. They're the opposite of her parents. Most of all for Sokka, who uses wit and sarcasm to blunt the impact of life's darkest moments, just like she does. While she and Sokka both respect and appreciate Katara far more than they would ever admit to her, they really only understand each other. Imagine you're Toph, you're 12 years old and you've never had a friend, and the first person who understands your psyche is this handsome, sword-wielding freedom fighter. I'm not surprised she falls in love with him. I'm also not surprised Sokka never figures out that she's fallen in love with him. Toph is rarely open about her feelings. Even when she's being honest to Sokka, she can only be honest with him about Katara. And even then, she's terribly afraid that he will reveal the truth to Katara, and that Katara will learn that Toph actually does care about her a lot. She can't bring herself to be honest with him about her crush on him. We see her become jealous of Suki in episode 212, The Serpent's Pass, before kissing Suki accidentally because she can't see her and instead believes that she's Sokka. We see her blush after she says that she doesn't miss Sokka when he comes back from his warrior training in episode 304, Sokka's master. But Sokka does not see this. He's not the most observant person. His brain works differently from the brains of the other members of Team Avatar. Sometimes his creative thinking can result in a masterful plan, such as his airship slice in the finale of the show, where he takes an airship from the Fire Nation and just runs it into all the other airships to disrupt the entire fleet. Or when he defeats Combustion Man in episode 312, the Western Air Temple, by bending his boomerang around a pillar. But he can also come up with some flatly ridiculous plans that it's for the best that people shoot down, such as his plan to dress Momo up as a ghost to distract the guards in Ba Sing Se. If there is one person who would not notice an introverted girl with a crush on him, and yes, Toph, despite how brash she acts, is the most introverted member of Team Avatar, then it would be Sokka. It's not like he's a great romantic, certainly not enough to compensate for his blind spots and his awareness. He's about as skilled as an average teenage boy in a romantic situation. That is to say, he's extremely awkward and clumsy, and thinks he's much smoother than he really is. I don't know how he would have responded if he did find out that Toph had a crush on him. Would he leave his badass warrior girlfriend Suki for a 12-year-old? I doubt it. But maybe Toph and Sokka could be together when they're older. The tragic thing is that we never get to find out. Maybe Toph eventually did admit her feelings for Sokka sometime after the end of Avatar, but we don't know. All we have to go on is what we see in the show and in spin-off material, and in there we see Toph reluctant to admit her true feelings about anything, certainly about her romantic attachments. Despite her gruff exterior, Toph is lonely and desperate for connection. Sokka gives her that, so it's a shame she never even is able to admit her feelings for him. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is a brilliant, clever, insightful, empathetic show that is finally getting all the attention it deserves. It really is a masterpiece. I really appreciate all the attention they give to making every member of Team Avatar feel like a fully realized, multi-dimensional character. They're not just sidekicks. They didn't have to do that, but I'm so glad they did. This show is much richer because of it. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.